The Royal Bakerman. Once upon a time, there was a bakerman named Ben who lived in a small village. Ben was a kind and hard-working man, and his bread was the best in the village. One day, a stranger came to the village. He was a tall and handsome man, and he was dressed in fine clothes. The stranger went to Ben's bakery and asked for a loaf of bread. Ben gave him the best loaf of bread in the shop. The stranger took a bite of the bread and smiled. "This is the best bread I have ever tasted," he said. "You are a very talented bakerman." Ben blushed. "Thank you," he said. The stranger then asked Ben if he would be willing to bake a special cake for him. He told Ben that he was a prince, and that he was getting married soon. He wanted Ben to bake the wedding cake for him and his princess. Ben was honored to be asked to bake the wedding cake for the prince. He agreed, and he set to work immediately. Ben spent several days baking the cake. He used the finest ingredients, and he decorated it with the most beautiful flowers. When the cake was finished, Ben was very proud of his work. He knew that it was the best cake he had ever made. Ben delivered the cake to the prince's castle on the day of the wedding. The prince and princess were very impressed with the cake. They said that it was the most beautiful and delicious cake they had ever seen. The prince and princess cut the cake and fed it to each other. Then, they shared it with their guests. Everyone at the wedding loved the cake. They said that it was the best cake they had ever tasted. Ben was very happy that he had been able to bake the wedding cake for the prince and princess. He knew that he would never forget this day. From that day on, Ben was known as the Royal Bakerman. He continued to bake the best bread and cakes in the village, and he was loved by everyone who knew him.